Welcome to the passenger seat of my car because I am entertaining my son at the moment who loves to play in Daddy's car. Don't you? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, sort of he was part of it. Anyway, that was hilarious. Right, okay, let's make a start. Let's talk about the single most terrifying moment in cinematic history. And no, it's not a horror movie that I'm talking about. It's the impact is not even contained to the screen. It's way bigger than that. It happens in Back to the Future when Marty McFly steps onto the stage at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance and plays Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. Or is it now by Marty McFly, aka Calvin Klein, who actually wrote that music? Now think about the timeline here, okay? Chuck Berry's cousin, Marvin, calls Chuck on the phone and holds the phone up so that he can listen to Marty playing the song that, as we and Marty remember, Chuck Berry wrote. Chuck Berry then goes on to steal that song from Marty and he goes on to record it in 1958. And it becomes a massive hit, right? Which means Marty grew up listening to that song on the radio that he had introduced in the past. So who wrote the song? I'll ask you again, who wrote the song? This is a textbook Bootstrap paradox, aka Beethoven's paradox. It's the same thing was first described using a time traveler and Beethoven. It's the same thing. The information has no origin. The song has no origin. The song was never actually written by anyone. It just exists in a self-causal time loop, a paradox in time, and nature abhors a paradox. So what if that loop didn't just alter Marty's personal history? What if intentionally ripping off Johnny Be Good fractured reality entirely? The little hand's coming at the screen here. Trapping all of us in an alternate universe. An alternate that we all arrived at back when Marty went back to 1985 and we never noticed. And we should have noticed because it's all right there. When you introduce a paradox of that magnitude into the space-time continuum, the universe has to correct for it, and it forces a timeline shift. And if you look closely at the Back to the Future trilogy, I'm doing a face thing here. You can't see his face. Can you even hear the microphone? I'm getting lost in this. Right, let's try it again. Right. And if you look closely at the Back to the Future trilogy, the evidence of this reality warp is staring us right in the face. And stick with me because this gets spooky, okay? So we'll start a bit more speculative and then we're going to burr down, okay? So you go sit over there. If we treat the Johnny Be Good paradox, let's call it that from now on, as a massive quantum tear, the sequels aren't just wacky adventures anymore. They're a chronicle of reality desperately trying and failing to stitch itself back together. Once the baseline of 1955 was corrupted, not split, corrupted. I will describe the difference. The universe started throwing out severe anomalies across the timeline. So first, look at the architectural and geographical shifts in Hill Valley. Because in the original 1985, the McFly family lives in a modest, slightly run-down suburb called Lyon Estates. But when Marty returns from 1955, the physical gateway to that neighborhood has changed. Which is apparently hilarious. The stone lions. Okay, go on then. Go. If you're gonna go there, you go there. Sorry, I'll cut. Hang on. The stone lions at the entrance are suddenly pristine, and the entire layout of the town has shifted prosperity levels overnight. Not just the McFly house, where his dad is suddenly a success. The whole neighborhood. And why would that happen? Just because his dad has become more successful. The Hill Valley of 2015 in part 2, well, that's evolved. That's evolved into a bizarre hypertech dystopia that features technology far too advanced for a linear progression of just 30 years. I mean, look, that was 11 years ago, right? It's 2026 now. That was 11 years ago. Where's my hoverboard? Where's yours, right? We all want one. Reality is way out of whack here. The universe is overcompensating. It's rapidly accelerating its own evolution to try to outrun the paradox that Marty planted in the past. Conjecture, right? Not convinced? Well, then there's the anomaly of the fading photographs. So in the logic of the first film, if you alter the past, then people slowly fade away in pictures. But why would a photograph, a physical chemical print, react in real time to a shifting timeline in the future while still existing? head scramble, I know. Okay, let me explain. In a stable universe, the photo would either exist with the siblings in it, or it would never have been taken. I mean, if George and Lorraine never hook up, who took the photo? Why does it exist? The fact that specific parts of the ink, but not the paper, is literally reforming before you suggests that Marty is trapped more in a glitching, almost simulated reality, one that is not definite. The universe cannot decide which history is the correct one. It just can't do it. So we have two realities stacked, one on top of the other. He's sitting in the base of his baby sister's baby seat, not on the seat, on the base. So we also see major anatomical and behavioral shifts in Doc Brown himself. In the first movie, Doc is a manic, wild-eyed outcast who struggles to make anything work until the lightning strike, which is, he has a vision and, well, this is not his genius, this is his imagination. But in the sequels, he suddenly possesses an impossibly deep understanding of advanced temporal mechanics, metallurgy, and even steam engine physics in 1885. And get this, he builds a flying time machine out of a train using frontier tools and know-how. He didn't go into the future, get the tech and bring it back. He built that train with his existing knowledge and available technology. It's almost as if Doc Brown's consciousness is being overwritten by an alternate version of himself. This is not the same person. He's not the same level of abilities. He is now a version who hadn't, prior to the time machine, been known as anything other than a crackpot with a non-working telepathy machine. And do you want more proof that this is a different Doc? Okay, 3 words. What the hell? And I know, still in the pure speculation phase. Just a fan theory, but how about this? When Marty returns to 1985, this is actually the most obvious one. His girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, looks completely different. His own father, George, was also a completely different person in 2015. And you thought that these were casting issues? Please, come on. When Marty cracked open the timeline by creating that paradox, he didn't just change his parents' wealth, he caused 2 parallel realities to coincide. And to be clear, I don't mean he jumped into an alternate reality like the one created by Biff in part 2, with just different versions of the same characters. We can see all of those changes when they do that, and the time travelers are aware of the difference. No, this is not the same thing. He's not recognized that this is not my history. No, because Marty didn't change history. He broke it by creating an impossible loop, 2 realities merging with barely distinguishable aspects of each other bleeding into each other. The people he knew were literally replaced by alternate versions of themselves because the original 1985 no longer had a stable foundation to rest on. And amongst the other things that were not the same anymore would be his own memories. Is that why he didn't notice what should have been obvious changes? Well, how many obvious changes have you noticed? I mean, there is a thing called the Mandela Effect. Maybe we should change it to the McFly Effect. It's the phenomenon where large groups of people collectively remember history differently than how it was recorded. I told you this gets spooky. We remember that Nelson Mandela died in prison and was also the president of South Africa. We swear that the Monopoly man wore a monocle, or that Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father," or that Kirk said, "Beam me up, Scotty," or that the Wicked Witch said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." And there's a whole bunch of other things like this. Look, you remember that there was a hyphen in the Kit Kat logo. So do I, but apparently there isn't. What if these aren't just tricks of human memory? What if they are the lingering side effects of the temporal shockwave that Marty caused in 1955? Things have changed, and you never noticed. So why should he? By playing those iconic guitar riffs before they were ever invented, Marty McFly may just have unraveled the fabric of certainty. We might all be living in the unstable, distorted ripples of a timeline that shouldn't exist. Heavy. This is Ex Uno Communitas, so I want your thoughts, because you're part of this conversation, because this is a community in a channel. Check out the website to see more. That's it for now. I got to go because he's getting crazy. But give me a like and a share and a subscribe if you feel like it. Get in the comments. Tell me, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I nuts? Who knows? Probably. Anyway, hope to see you next time. Thank you for listening.